Today, we talk about the afterlife. Hello, my name is Dylan, and today I'm going to give you 10 tips on your first playthrough through Hades. Hades is a roguelike dungeon crawler in which you defy the god of the dead as you hack and slash your way out of the underworld of Greek myth. It can be an intimidating game to get started in, but today I'm going to give you 10 tips to help you in your first playthrough. Number 1, deciding how to play. Your two choices will be controller or mouse and keyboard if you are playing on PC. Obviously, if you are playing on Switch, your only choice is a controller setup. If you're running the game in Steam, you can connect a controller by right-clicking on the title of the game in your library, scrolling down to Properties, and opening that. Then there should be a controller window that'll allow you to enable any type of controller that you use. I use a PlayStation 5 controller, but use whatever is comfortable for you. Play around with the two though. Maybe mouse and keyboard will be a little more intuitive for you than it was for me. I just found that I like the feel of the controller a little better, and it seemed to just flow a little more easily for me. 2, embrace failure. Hades is a game where you're going to make a little progress and die, and make progress and die, and restart and restart and restart. So don't be frustrated by the fact that it may not feel like you're getting very far. A lot of playing the game and the fun of the game is discovering everything that it has to hold and how to progress little by little through the game and take the knowledge you've learned on your previous runs to get just a bit further. 3, giving Nectar. Nectar is an item in the game that you can obtain to give to other characters to improve your relationship with them. On the first time that you give each character Nectar, they will give you a keepsake in return. Keepsakes are items that will help you in your runs by giving you a small boost that is permanent for the whole run. 4, taking keys. Early in the game, taking keys is very important to increasing your overall strength. Sometimes you have a choice of upcoming chamber rewards, and early in the game, I suggest taking as many keys as possible. They will help you upgrade the Mirror of Knights and also unlock new weapons. 5, always talk. A lot of the fun of Hades is interacting with the characters, getting little snippets of background to their mythology, their relationships with the others, and their relationship with you. Always talk when given the opportunity. 6, try different weapons. It's easy to lock into one specific weapon and think that it's the one for you. I did that early on in my playthrough, thinking that the spear was my favorite weapon, and I kept using it over and over and over, and honestly not really doing that well, but for some reason I thought it was the best weapon for me. Once you've unlocked enough weapons, one weapon in your inventory will have a purple aura around it. That signifies that that weapon, for the next clear attempt, will have a plus 20% bonus to any darkness gems you find. It's a good way early on in your playthrough to help you get more darkness, which will allow you to unlock new abilities. 8, the Mirror of Night. The Mirror of Night is one of the main meta progression systems in the game of Hades. It has a plethora of abilities for you to unlock and upgrade that will help you in all of your future runs. Use it wisely. Also, something that's easy to overlook is that each ability has a flip side, one red and one green. Make sure to check both abilities and find which one is best for you. 9, God Mode. God Mode is a way to enjoy the narrative of the game without experiencing as much of the punishing aspects of it. If you're struggling to get through one clear of Hades and you feel like you're just pounding your head against the wall and starting to get frustrated or not have fun playing the game, explore using God Mode. Don't feel bad about it. Play the game in the way that is best for you and is going to be the most fun for you. God Mode gives you a plus 20% damage resistance off the bat, and then each time you die, you get a bonus 2% damage resistance increase that stacks. It makes it so that players who are less familiar with the mechanics of roguelike games can enjoy the elation, the pure elation of making their first clear, with many future clears to come. 10, escape is not the end. You'll feel an incredible rush and relief when you clear your first escape in Hades. But just remember, there's a lot of game left to explore. So much narrative lies behind continuing to make clear attempts, deepening your relationships with characters, trying new weapons, exploring new boons, combinations of boons. Feel free to keep playing. Now that I've given you some tips to start playing the game, I'm going to give you 5 advanced tips that might help you with the mechanics of the game. Now, I don't want to tell you exactly what boons are strongest, what boon combinations, what weapons you should use, yada, yada, yada. That's all personal preference, and that's a lot of the fun of the game, is exploring what the game has to offer, figuring out what combinations of boons you like and how they interact with each other. And then sometimes you'll get a boon option that pops up and you'll go, holy shit, that's strong. That's a lot of the fun of discovery in the mechanics of actually playing through a run in Hades. But here are 5 tips. 1, Old Spiked Collar. The Old Spiked Collar is a keepsake that you get from Cerberus from the first time that you give Cerberus Nectar. It increases your max health, and you can equip it before the start of a run. Once it is fully upgraded, it gives you plus 50 max health, which is a nice buffer for those early stages of the game where, as you're learning the game, you might struggle a little more and die early. Might help you get just a little bit further than you would without it. 2, Daedalus hammers are very strong. I say almost always take a Daedalus hammer when given the option. Sometimes they can change the way the weapon strikes, or how many times it strikes, what kind of damage it does, how fast or slow its use is, or change it completely. There's a lot to explore with Daedalus hammers, and they give all of the weapons a lot of unique abilities. 3, passive damage. Passive damage, I believe, is one of the things that new players overlook when they're building out their character abilities in a run in Hades. Passive damage abilities include Hangover, Doom, Jolt, and Rupture. Try out all of them, or combinations of all of them. Anything that is going to deal damage that you don't have to actively think about doing is going to be very helpful, and they can all stack and become very, very strong. 4, dash mechanics, and with this, Divine Dash. I think dash mechanics are a little bit hard to understand in the game when you first start playing. Dash should not only be used to avoid attacks, but you can actually think of dash as almost like teleporting or moving through space and time when you dash. You can literally dash through a projectile or a strike, even if you are still in its range. The act of dashing from point A to point B, that middle area, basically should act as though you're not there, which is a hard concept to kind of understand when you first play. You kind of think of dashing as just like moving to avoid everything, but in this case, you can actually dash through things, and as long as you time it right, you can avoid the damage. Very strong. Also, the one boon that I'm going to talk about specifically is Athena's Divine Dash. Divine Dash, no matter the rarity that you get it at, common, rare, epic, is one of the stronger abilities in the game, especially when you are first learning the game. It does a little bit of damage when you dash, and it also deflects when you dash. This becomes super strong because you can dash into projectiles and deflect them back at enemies. As you're learning the game, Divine Dash is one of the boons that I would look for every run. It's just going to make things much more forgiving for you on the defensive side. 5, armored enemies can't be stunned. Armored enemies are the ones that have yellow bars and over the top of their health bars, and while they still have armor, they will not be stunned like you will stun normal enemies. So watch out for their attacks while you are trying to whittle down their armor. They won't be susceptible to being stunned, so they're just going to smack back at you. And that's it. Thanks for hanging out and watching my guide to Hades. If you have any tips that you think I missed, or any questions about the game, or need any help with anything with your runs, please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. Also, stop by my stream sometime. I stream every weekday from noon to 4 p.m. and a lot of times I'm playing Hades. So come check it out. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help. Thanks again for stopping by. Have a good day.